You've been making the case that if Steph wins a championship and a Finals MVP, that it vaults him into the all-time top 10. Tell us why.
Because it's the missing piece from his resume, Skip. It would be such an outstanding resume. 4 titles, 2 MVPs, 2 scoring titles, and now a Finals MVP. Skip, I think if he gets that, I don't know how you keep him out of the top 10. And when you look at it, Skip, he'll be one of 6 players that have 2 regular season MVPs, 4 titles, and a Finals MVP, joining Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, and Duncan. And we believe those first 4, Skip, Jordan, LeBron, Magic, and Kareem, are on Mount Rushmore. He would join that group, a very, very elite group, Skip. And I think because he's revolutionized the game, Skip, no one said, you know what, we need a guy that can dunk like Jordan. Now everybody tries to find a shooter. If you can shoot the basketball, you can stay longer in the NBA than you ever could by dunking the basketball. We see 4- and 5-year-old kids, they say, you know what, we're going to try to make SportsCenter, we're going to try to make a highlight show by how, Skip, jacking up 3. They can barely get the ball in the layup line. But somehow they think by throwing the ball with one hand from the three-point line will make them Steph Curry. He's changed the game, and what he's been able to do, and Skip, I think people are reluctant because why, Skip? He doesn't have overwhelming athleticism. He can't fly through the air like Jordan. He's not physically imposing like LeBron James, 6'9", 255 pounds. You look at him, he's not 6'9" like Magic. He's not the dominating force that Shaq was. He doesn't have the elegance and grace of levitating like a Kobe. He's like 6'3". I mean, you look at a guy like, well, damn, I really could be Steph Curry. I'm never going to jump like Jordan. I'm never going to be 7'1", 335 and move like Shaq. But I really could be Steph Curry, Skip. I could be 6'3". I could be 6'3", 180 and shoot the ball. So, and not only has he changed the game from a youth level, Skip, everybody in the NBA now, all they do is jack up 3s. Now, we just saw the Heat the other night, Skip missed 38, which won off the playoff record of 39, and they just shoot 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. What did they shoot last night? Dallas, which launched up 42. The Warriors got up 36. That's 78-3. That's where the game is gone because of one guy, the little 6'3" light skin guy that plays in the Bay. So, Skip, somebody's going to have to get bumped. He wins a 4 title. He becomes Finals MVP. Skip, it's contingent now. He's going to need to be the Finals MVP. He can't just have 4 titles. He's going to need to win Finals MVP. And I think he has a very compelling case. I don't know how. Somebody in the top 10 is going to have to go if Steph Curry wins this title and the Finals MVP.
Okay. I will give you greatest shooter ever, obviously. I will give you revolutionized the game from the three-point line, obviously.
Okay.
None of which qualifies him for the top 10, in my view, obviously.
Okay.
Because there's too much missing from this resume to suddenly vault him off this year's finals into the all-time top 10. The problem is that he won his first title because LeBron James no longer had Kevin Love going into the finals and then lost Kyrie Irving in the overtime of game one. So remember, that was the finals in which only inserting Iguodala into the starting lineup seemed to flip the script and change everything because Steph and company were down 2-1 at LeBron's house. And I thought LeBron had played the greatest 3 games of his career to get them into that.
First 3 games.
Yes, to get them there. But the point was, from that point forward, it was Iguodala on offense and especially defense who changed everything and won the Finals MVP. So it's not like you can give Steph Curry all-time top 10 credit for that finals because you disqualify it. You put an asterisk beside it because LeBron's playing by himself, basically, without his second and third best players on his team, right?
Right.
Okay. And then he obviously won his next 2 rings courtesy of Kevin Durant, who was the Finals MVP in both of those back-to-back finals because of the games that Kevin played in LeBron's house in Game 3s, pivotal Game 3s.
Yes.
So the point is, now we've got 3 rings with qualifications, huge qualifications, if not asterisks on them, that you can't give Steph full credit for. So now we're back to this. this is my issue. This is my biggest issue on this show that I'm about to address head on. We have seen two superstar meltdowns in the finals, and I ranked them 1 and 2. And the first one was your man, LeBron James. And it was his first go-around with the Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. I'd never seen anything like it before. Games 4, 5, and 6. Chosen one became frozen one. He just completely, epically melted down, and they blew a 2-1 lead. And it's on his resume. And he's done all kinds of great things. But when we start talking about LeBron versus Jordan and the GOAT debate, it's hard for me to get past what happened in 2011 because that never happened to Michael Jordan. And I don't want to do the whole Jordan debate right now because this is about Steph Curry.
Okay.
But I'm just framing it with that was the worst one. But now we're talking about the second worst one that I ever witnessed. This is my point of view from this side of the table, was 2016. And LeBron benefited hugely from that because LeBron is down 3-1, and Steph Curry comes up even smaller than he is at 6'3". He actually plays smaller than 6'3" to start with. Like you say, in the normal world, 6'3" is tall because you're a big man and you're 6'2". Okay, so he's an inch taller than you are, quote unquote, but he is an inch taller. But he plays even smaller than 6'3" in the perspective in relation to everybody else on the basketball court. Well, now he played real small because all of a sudden in those games, his threes that revolutionized the world are starting to draw a lot more iron than nylon because he is starting to miss threes like crazy. And I'm going to remind everybody what he did just quickly. I'm just going to hit the lowlights of games 4, 5, and 6. In those 3 games, he shot 37% from the floor, which is just horrendously bad. A career 45% three-point shooter, shot only 36% from 3. He had 7 assists in those 3 games to 12 turnovers and was an overall -20 in plus-minus. In the fourth quarters of those 3 games, he shot 30% from the floor and 25% from 3, 3 of 12. All 3 winnable games, 2 of the 3 in Steph's house, obviously then in Oakland. Not one time in those fourth quarters did he ever get to the free throw line, so he was 0 for 0. And in Game 7, this is it. In your house, you're a 2-time back-to-back MVP. You were the first ever unanimous MVP. And what happens in Game 7 at Oracle Arena, you do score 17 points, but it took 19 shots. You were 6 of 19. You were 4 of 14 from 3, numbers reminiscent of last night. You made 1 free throw and 1 attempt. You had 4 turnovers. And in the fourth quarter of that game, with the game teetering back and forth, you go 1 of 6, 1 of 5 from 3, and you shoot no free throws in the fourth quarter. And you well remember that game because it was a great game for you. It's one of the greatest games in your pantheon of covering sports because at the 6:57 mark of that game, Steph made his only shot of the fourth quarter. He made a 3 that actually tied the score at 83 all.
Right.
And then down the stretch of that game, he takes shots at 5:38, 4:06, 1:14, and 31 seconds left. 3 of them three-point shots to either go ahead or tie the game. They're just crucial shots, and he misses all 4 of those. So he doesn't score a point after the 6:57 mark. We had the great chase down block. We had the Kyrie shot. We had a lot of great things happening in a seesaw game in which Steph was not to be found. He completely disappeared down the stretch. Well, that's a meltdown to me over 3 games, 2 of those at home, and it disqualifies him, in my view, from being a top 10 player.
But Skip, when you look at it, and you mentioned about games 4, 5, and 6, you do realize in Game 5 he had 25 points, and it took Kyrie and LeBron, the only 2 teammates ever, to score 40-plus in an NBA Finals game. He did have 30 in Game 6, and it took LeBron James to give you another Herculean effort. But
But the shooting percentages are awful. He's shooting way more shots than he should with the misses, but they still add up. Your points are okay.
Yes.
Even in Game 7, he scored 17 points, but it was 6 of 19.
No. 17, game 7, he was really bad because he had a couple of those turnovers, and the worst one was behind the back pass to Clay in the corner that goes out of bounds. But Skip, when you look at all-time greats, and I would give you LeBron, Jordan, Kareem, Wilt, Magic, Bird, Duncan, Russell, and Kobe, all of those guys played with what? Another top 75 player. Steph Curry has never played with a top 75 player. Well, he did play one. He played with KD. But if you look at, and he only had him for 2 years, all these other guys played multiple years with top 75 players. And the fact that he got back to the NBA Finals without a top 75 player. And the top 75 players that played with him have yet to come close to getting back. We don't do this. Larry Bird in 1981, in the finals against the Houston Rockets, he had 2 games in which he scored 8 points. Cedric Cornbread Maxwell was Finals MVP.
You're talking about his first
NBA Finals in 1981. We don't hold that against Larry. And when Jordan won the Finals, I think it was 96, I think against Seattle, he had games, I think Game 4, he was 6 of 19. In Game 6, he was 5 of 19. We don't hold shooting against him like we do Steph. Skip, at the end of the, when you look.
But they won, right? They won the Finals. So that's the outcome is the difference.
He won in 2015. He averaged 26, 5, and 6. I've never seen a guy average 26, 5, and 6. The guy wins Finals MVP, averaging 15, 6, and 7. Come on, Skip, and gritty. I get it. 17, 18, Kevin Durant deserved Finals MVP. He averaged 35 in one. I think he averaged 32, 33 in another. But Steph was 27, 8, and 9, 28, 6, and 7. And in 2019, when they lost, he was 35 and 6 against Toronto. Skip, he's been sensational. Just because he had a teammate to outplay him, that's not a knock on Steph. Steph has been great with, except I'll give you this. I'll give you 2016. 23, 5, and 4 for a unanimous MVP that averaged 30 points. And Skip, that was also the year he was a 50, 40, 90 guy. 50% from the field, 40% from the 3, 90% from the free throw line. And he gave you 23, 5, and 4. So I'll give you that when he's come up small. But that's hard for me to say. If you look at it, Skip, for the most part, has come up small at least once in an NBA Finals.
But how many of those players led a contingent of their teammates and executives all the way across country on the 3rd of July to get down on bended knee to recruit a top 75 player in Kevin Durant? Because Steph led the contingent and said, please come save us. Come save me. I couldn't do this. You need to help us, right?
But Skip, don't you think now that Kevin Durant needed Golden State as much as they needed him? Can you see where Golden State is? And do you see what Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets are? Now, it might be now people are starting to say, well, hold on. You might have needed them worse than they needed you. They just went 73 and 9. Now, I'm not saying they would have. I don't believe they could have beat Kyrie and LeBron. That's why they did, like you said, led that contingent. I don't believe they could have beat them again, Skip. But Kevin Durant was like, where can I go? Because he got to get that monkey off his back. He's got to win a title. Where's the quickest, easiest way for me to win a title? Let me go join a 73. And I got no problem with it. I got no problem with Kevin Durant joining the team. But let's not pretend he didn't need that team.
Okay, I got it. He did. He was 9 years in, and he said, I can't win with my little brother here in Oklahoma City, so I'm going to maximize my chances. I'm going to join forces with the best team by far. I'm going to go there because we're going to win some rings. And he went and won his 2 rings. And now I question Kevin's motivation. I'm not even sure he's as driven as he used to be because he got his 2 rings and he was the Finals MVP and he rose above all the pressure and all the NBA world on the edge of its seat for him to fall on his face, and he did that.
But, Skip, I think he's just as driven. But in the process of going to Golden State and winning those 2 rings, he heaped even more pressure on himself because now he left. Now you got to show that you can win without a Steve Kerr, without that team.
Okay, I agree. But Steph also needs to show he can win one to be the driving force of a team with no Kevin Durant. Because don't forget, don't sweep under the carpet over there what happened against Toronto, because Kevin is hurt. And he tried to come back briefly and had a flash. And then he was gone again with the torn Achilles. But against Toronto, little known fact, we had another fairly epic meltdown because against Toronto in games 3, 4, 5, and 6, little Steph came up smaller than even he is because he shot 33% from 3 in those last 4 games, 33%. And in the closeout game in his building, he missed the walk-off. He missed the buzzer beater that would have sent it to Game 7 back in Toronto. And again, you can say you're nitpicking. Well, we're talking about the all-time top 10 here. So that's on your resume. And it's not as epic a meltdown as the one was in 2016, but I'm still saying that's Steph Curry. And Steve Kerr was raving after the game about we go as he goes. Everything revolves around him.
No, not last night. Everything revolved around Clay last night.
Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so what did we see this year? What have we seen so far through this playoff run? Against Memphis. I picked Memphis, and I stand by picking Memphis because if they'd had Dylan Brooks for the 2 games that he was gone, if they'd had Ja for the final 3 games, I believe Memphis would have eliminated Golden State, but we'll never know.
Right.
But that's my contention, and every game was nail-biter except the one that Dylan Brooks missed in Game 3 when they went back to Golden State.
Right.
But they were, it was nip-tuck, nip-tuck. And the point was, when we got to the closeout game back in Golden State after they had trailed by 55 at Memphis in Game 5, but in the closeout game, I'm looking at, wait a second, what happened to Steph in that Game 6? Well, what do you call him? Game 6 Clay, rose and shone, right? Here he came out of nowhere. He hit 8 threes in that game against, we're talking about Memphis, 8 out of 14 to score 30 points. Steph that night went 10 of 27. Is that not reminiscent of what just happened last night? So fast forward then.
Well, he was worse last night. He
Slightly.
was 5 of 17.
Okay, right? Okay. So my point is that fast forward to last night, and it's another closeout Game 6, and who made a big appearance? Oh, it's Game 6 Clay, right? And here he comes, and how many threes did he make last night? He made 8.
8 of 16.
So in back-to-back Game 6s against Memphis and then Dallas, Clay just said no.
That was the Game 5 last night.
I mean, Game 5, I'm sorry. Yeah, but it was closeout. Closeout game. So it wasn't Game 6. But Game 5, he makes 8 more threes, and he's the star of the show. And yet, at the end of the night, and I don't have any problem with this because of the collective 5 games, but Steph gets the new Magic Johnson Award for the MVP. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, but you just shot 5 of 17. What was he, 2 of 7 from 3?
I mean, who you going to give it to? Wiggins, Kevon Looney?
I don't know.
You got to give it to Steph. Skip.
Well, okay, like I said, I don't have any problem with that. But it actually weirdly increases the pressure because, okay, here we go against the team. Again, they're going to take care of business tonight. That's a done deal. I'm not, well, it's just over. It's a done deal. But the point is, Boston has shown that it is the best defensive team in professional basketball. Certainly through the playoffs, it has shown that. Miami was nip-tuck with Miami through the year. But the point is, here we are right now, and Steph is going to go up against Marcus Smart, a villain who did him in, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes here on the show.
Regular season.
And was it a cheap shot or was it just a clean, hard play? But it knocked Steph out for the final 12 games of the regular season because he dived for a loose ball and crashed into
And that was one of the reasons why I didn't pick them.
Okay.
It's because I was like, man, how healthy is Steph going to be going into the right?
Okay, well, here comes his nemesis and his villain back, and I'm sure Marcus is going to be guarding Steph a good bit of the time.
Absolutely.
So here we go. It is time to validate your new Magic Johnson trophy for the conference finals with your first finals MVP. And if you can pull that off, then that's great by me. It enhances your stature and legacy, but it's hard for me to vault you into the top 10.
But Skip, I think right now about a lot of things, they have him at what, the 12th or the 13th best player. And that's with
Who's they?
When they rank the players, they rank the players all the time, the 1 through 75.
Oh, you mean in the 1 to 75?
Yeah, the 1 through 75 rankings. If I'm not mistaken, Skip, I think he's either 12th or 13th. I could be wrong now. Because I saw this was like All-Star game, so it's been like 3 months ago. That's with 3 titles. And not a 4th, and not a finals MVP. So, Skip, when you give him that, when you add that to his resume, and he's not done, they could theoretically be back. Kuminga.
Okay, I don't disagree with that.
So, Skip, for me, when I look at what he's been able to do and what he's continuing to do, Skip, the numbers are going to say he's going to be a top 10 player. Now, I don't believe he passed, some people say, well, he's going to pass Magic if he gets a 4th title. Now, he's not passing Magic with a 4th title because just like he revolutionized the game with the 3, Magic revolutionized the game with the big guard. Because everybody started wanting to get a big guard, Skip, that can see over everything, pass the ball, can still score and rebound. So Magic Johnson in himself changed the game a lot. For me, Skip, I've seen enough from Steph. And I know we can really nitpick a lot of people. But what he's been able to do at that size, Skip, we say normally small guards don't really dominate the game. He's a small guard that dominated the game.
Okay, I buy that. But just for the record, I'm going to quickly run through my all-time top 10.
Okay.
Just to say Steph over, him.
Okay.
I start at the top with Michael Jordan.
Okay.
I go to Magic. I go to Shaq, Kareem, Tim Duncan, Mr. Russell, as in Bill Russell, Kobe Bryant, the late great, your man Larry Bird, your man LeBron James. I got him at 9, and I got the overpoweringly great Wilt Chamberlain at 10. Where are you going to stick Steph? Again, if you're prisoner of the moment, maybe you vault him ahead of, like some people are going to say he's better than Magic, like you said. So some people just vault him up in there, and then that's a hell no for me also. Okay?
I can't do that.
All right. So where do you go? Is he better than Larry Bird? Well, I guess you could start making the case.
Yeah, Skip. Bird. Skip, for me, and I've caught some criticism for this, and I think they misinterpreted what I said. I said in order for you to be in the GOAT conversation, you must have multiple regular season MVPs. No other sport, baseball, football, do we consider somebody a GOAT player. Especially football is different, Skip, because our defensive players really not getting that award. That's an offense-given award, and it's normally a quarterback award.
Okay.
But when we look at baseball and we look at basketball, nobody has ever thought of being a GOAT player with one regular season MVP. And so that's my cutoff point. If you only have one, you're disqualified. It's got to be multiple. And so Jordan and Magic and Kareem and Russell and Bron and Chamberlain, Bird, Tim Duncan. Hold on, you left Tim Duncan off this? Out of top 10?
No, I put him in.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say.
I got him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. I was going to say, whoa. He definitely doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And he played in the era with Shaq and Kobe. And he beat Shaq and Kobe more times than they beat him. But that's neither here nor there, Skip.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.